But speaking of pre-order and books that are coming out very soon, you also have another book coming out from Mad Cave in October, The
Yeah.
Devil That Wears My Face. Tell me about that book because this looks completely different than anything that we've talked about for the past hour and a half.
Yeah. Baby's first horror book. Yeah, the Devil That Wears My Face. I've been billing it as Face Off meets The Exorcist. I'm working with Alex Cormack on it from Road of Bones, Sea of Sorrows, Breath of Shadows, and the upcoming Drive Like Hell, which you can
Mhm.
also pre-order at your local comic shop. Um, yeah, The Devil That Wears My Face. It's about an 18th century Vatican priest who is dealing with a very profound crisis of faith. He's also happens to be the Vatican's chief exorcist in a time where exorcism is pretty frowned upon. And so he is dispatched to Spain to try to cure a Spanish nobleman's son who has been possessed by the demon known as Legion. And unfortunately, our priest, Father Vieri, he's performing the exorcism and it backfires. And so suddenly he is trapped in the body of the Spanish nobleman, and the Legion has hijacked his body and is going back to the Vatican to wreak havoc. So it's a pretty fun book. You know, it's horror, it's sort of action adventure, um, and Alex is just drawing the hell out of it. I've been a fan of Alex's for some time. You know, ever since his work on Sync over at Comics Tribe, just very kind of visceral stuff, but also just like Alex knows how to do mood. His characters are wonderful actors. His layouts are always fantastic. He's a super gracious and funny guy to boot. I mean, I just Alex is really kind of the full package. There are I can't there are no other artists like Alex that there were. I don't know, the industry would be either a much better or scarier place. Um, but yeah, this book, yeah, it really it crosses a lot of things off my bucket list. You know, I've wanted to do a horror book for some time. I've wanted to do a body swap book in the vein of a Face Off for some time, and I've wanted to work with Alex for some time. And so being able to kind of weave all that together in this book, I couldn't be prouder of it. I think this is amongst some of my best work in the independent scene, and getting to work with Mad Cave has been spectacular. Reuniting with Mike Martz and Christina Harrington, who are my editors on Scouts Honor. They're the editors on Devil Wears My Face. And also just, Mark London and Chris Fernandez over at Mad Cave have just been incredibly supportive of me and my work. Just really gracious guys who have wanted to, we've wanted to work together for some time. And this project really kind of, we all gravitated towards it. And so I'm very excited for readers to get to see this one. It's just, it's unlike anything I've ever written.
That's so cool. I mean, just looking, I was looking to some preview art. There's the third page where you have just like I'm guessing somebody that's possessed chained to the wall.
Yep.
And oh boy, like if that doesn't tell you how, I guess how far you're pushing the envelope on this book.
Feed me more priests is
Yeah.
what he says. Yeah, we're pushing this real hard. I was saying that Spencer and Locke was the bleakest thing I've ever written, and maybe it still is, but I don't know. Devil is certainly up there. We're not pulling any punches with the art. We're not pulling any punches with just kind of how depraved Legion, our demon character, is, especially when he's piloting a Vatican priest's body. Um, and it was just really fun being able to kind of take the iconography of exorcism and kind of flip it on its head, sort of exorcism and possession being two sides of the same coin,
Yeah.
and sort of what's the ritual behind both, and are there ways we can kind of flip that around, and are there ways that we can kind of take the historical context of the Vatican at that time in the year 1740 and kind of really leverage that into a fun story. For those who aren't aware, Pope Clement, was at the end of his life. He died early that year. He was blind and bedridden for some time. So he was conducting a lot of his work as the Pope just in his bedchambers. And meanwhile, there's a lot of politics that go into the Vatican. They're called the Curia, and they're sort of high-ranking cardinals who kind of oversee the various important parts of the Vatican and sort of a lot of the political maneuvering that goes into that. If you've seen things like the Young Pope on
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's sort of a little bit of a tease into what that is. Um, yeah, there was a lot of research involved. I read up on literally every single historical pope to try to kind of figure out like where when am I going to set this thing?
Yeah.
Knowing that like trying to do a body swap thing is a very different story in today's connected world with the internet, even more so than it was in the 90s with Face Off. So trying to kind of make this historical so we could have like cool sword fights, but also like, do guns exist in this world? And if so, what's the level of technology there? And so, yeah, it's been really exciting to see kind of Alex bring all that to life. And yeah, Vieri, he feels kind of like a spiritual cousin to Kit in Scout's Honor. Uh,
Okay. Okay.
just I think characters dealing with crises of faith are, I think, some of my favorite to write. Because sort of when the chips are down and their backs are against the wall, they're going to find out. They're going to find out what they believe, what they really believe in, and they're going to, and whether or not they can kind of stand up to the truth is going to be, I think a big part of the story. And so yeah, that I finished writing that. I turned in the last issue shortly before Comic Con, and yeah, Alex is chugging along, and it looks fantastic. So I can't wait for people to get to read it. First issue comes out in October. I believe it's
The
the
fourth.
yeah the 4th, so it's the
Yep.
Wednesday before Comic Con, New York Comic Con. So
Awesome.
be sure to pick up a copy, and I'll sign one for you.
So you'll be at New York Comic Con?
Yes, I will.
Oh, excellent.
So
Excellent.
I'll
That's
be
so cool.
there, and I believe I should be at Baltimore Comic Con as well next month.
Okay. Excellent. Well, I mean, yeah, I'm looking here. I love both of the covers are amazing. The Corman cover is great. I really like also the approach that Manhouse did for
Yeah,
that cover. Fantastic. I'm sure there'll be more covers that come out. Like,
yeah. I,
uh,
I believe there are some variants in play, either store variants or maybe other
yeah,
variants that are should be coming out soon.
so cool.